When a woman leaves you, most men make the same fatal mistake. They chase, they beg, they try to prove their worth to someone who's already decided they don't want it. But Niccolò Machiavelli understood something that modern men have forgotten, something that turns the psychology of abandonment into the foundation of power. Real strength isn't in convincing someone to stay, it's in becoming someone they regret leaving, someone who transforms their departure into his greatest victory. Most men see her leaving as the end of their story, but what if I told you it's actually the beginning? What if her walking away isn't your defeat, but your invitation to become unrecognizable? Stay till the end. I'll reveal Machiavelli's hidden principle about loss that most men miss even after studying him for years, a truth that turns abandonment into advantage. Here's the brutal truth about why she left. It wasn't sudden, it wasn't impulsive, it was calculated. She measured your response long before she made her decision. Every time you got comfortable, every time you stopped growing, every time you took her presence for granted, she was taking notes. Machiavelli wrote that it is better to be feared than loved, if one cannot be both. Not feared in the sense of terror, but feared in the sense of loss, the fear of losing something irreplaceable. But you became replaceable, predictable, safe in the worst possible way. There are 3 types of leaving, and understanding which one you're dealing with changes everything. The test, leave, where she withdraws to measure your desperation. The escape, leave, where she genuinely seeks freedom from what the relationship became. And the upgrade, leave, where she believes she's found someone better. Most men panic the same way regardless of which type they're facing. They become emotional, they make promises about change, they reveal just how much power she had over their happiness. Have you ever wondered why your efforts to win her back only pushed her further away? Why your emotional displays made her more certain about her decision? It's because you proved her point. You showed her that your worth was tied to her approval, that without her, you crumble. Here's where most men lose the game before they even realize they're playing it. They think love means fighting for someone. But Machiavelli knew that sometimes the strongest move is the one that looks like surrender. When she leaves, your instinct screams at you to act, to call, to explain, to fix whatever went wrong. But this instinct is your enemy. It's the voice of desperation disguised as devotion. The strategic response is calculated withdrawal, not because you don't care, but because you care enough about yourself to refuse humiliation. No contact, no explanations, no emotional displays that reveal how much her absence affects you. This isn't about playing games, it's about preserving the dignity she tried to take with her. Machiavelli wrote that you should never attempt to win by force what can be won by deception. But the deception here isn't manipulation, it's your apparent indifference to her departure. When you don't chase, something shifts in her psychology. She expected pursuit. She expected drama. She expected you to prove that losing her was the worst thing that could happen to you. But silence makes her question everything. Did she matter as much as she thought? Was she as irreplaceable as she believed? Why isn't he falling apart? Your silence becomes louder than any words you could have spoken. It forces her to sit with her decision without the validation of your desperation. If you're starting to see why chasing never works. But calculated withdrawal is only the beginning. The real strategy starts when you redirect all that energy you would have spent chasing her into something far more powerful, yourself. Machiavelli understood that the best fortress is to be found in the love of the people. But before anyone can love you, you must become someone worth loving, starting with yourself. This is where her departure becomes your advantage. She removed herself from your life, but she also removed a distraction from your evolution. The transformation protocol has 4 pillars, each one designed to make you unrecognizable from the man she left behind. First, physical transformation, not for her but for you. The gym becomes your temple. Your body becomes your first victory. Every pound lost, every muscle gained, every healthy habit formed is proof that you're moving forward, not backward. Second, mental fortification. Feed your mind with knowledge she never cared about. Read books that expand your perspective. Learn skills that make you more valuable. Become interesting to yourself first. Third, social expansion. Reconnect with friends you neglected. Make new connections. Remember what it feels like to be appreciated by people who choose your company freely. Fourth, financial and career advancement. Channel that emotional energy into building something that can't walk away. A business, a skill, a reputation that grows stronger with time. The psychological shift is everything, from how do I get her back to how do I become irreplaceable, not to her, but to yourself. Here's what happens when you follow the transformation protocol correctly. Something most men never expect, but Machiavelli would have predicted perfectly. She comes back. Not always physically, but psychologically. She starts paying attention again, checking your social media, asking mutual friends about you, watching your story but not responding to your posts. Machiavelli wrote that men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand. She left based on who you were, not who you could become. But now she's seeing the transformation with her own eyes. The return phenomenon happens in 3 stages. First, the curiosity stage. She notices you're not falling apart. You're not posting sad quotes or drunk messages. You're posting gym progress, new experiences, genuine smiles. Second, the testing stage. She starts indirect contact. Likes an old photo. Responds to your story with a casual emoji. Asks mutual friends how you're doing. She's testing if you're still the same man she left. Third, the approach stage. Direct contact with explanations. I've been thinking about us. I miss what we had. Maybe we made a mistake. She's reappearing with the same energy she used to disappear. This is the ultimate test, not of her sincerity, but of your integrity. Was the transformation real, or was it just performance to get her back? Most men fail right here. They've built momentum, they've grown, they've become magnetic, but the moment she returns with a breadcrumb of attention, they collapse back into who they were before. Don't let the return be your regression. The man you became in her absence must be the same man she finds upon return. That's when she feels true loss, because she realizes she doesn't control the story anymore. But here's the truth that separates boys from men. Not every return deserves a response. Not every departure is a mistake. Sometimes, someone leaving your life is the universe doing you a favor. Machiavelli knew that some enemies cannot be neutralized with diplomacy. Sometimes the only way to win is to completely retreat from the battlefield, not because you're weak, but because you recognize that some conflicts have no honorable solution. How do you know when walking away forever is the right choice? When her return follows the same pattern as her departure. When she shows up only after you've improved, but disappears when you plateau. When she treats your emotions like entertainment. When she uses your feelings as fuel for her ego. When she leaves and returns not based on genuine connection, but on how much control she can maintain. The nuclear option isn't about anger or revenge, it's about self-preservation. It's about recognizing that some people aren't looking for a relationship, they're looking for an audience. Complete psychological withdrawal. Delete her from social media. Stop asking mutual friends about her. Avoid places where you know she'll be. It's more radical than calculated indifference because you're not expecting any reaction. You're erasing her from your reality because you've realized something profound. Your time and emotional energy are finite resources. Spending them on someone who uses them for power games isn't strategy. It's self-destruction disguised as persistence. Some departures aren't losses, they're promotions in disguise. Liberation from someone who was never worthy of your consistency. Here's the painful truth that Machiavelli buried beneath all his political wisdom. The truth that most men miss, even after studying him for years. Power isn't about keeping people. It's about becoming someone worth keeping. But more than that, it's about becoming someone who doesn't need to be kept. When you master yourself, you don't lose women, you filter them. You don't chase connection out of loneliness, you allow it when it aligns with the empire you're building. The man who can walk away is the man who never has to, not because he doesn't care, but because he cares enough about himself to refuse degradation. This is what her departure really taught you. Not that you weren't enough, but that you were giving your enough to someone who couldn't recognize its value. Every hour you spent trying to convince her to stay was an hour you could have spent becoming someone she'd regret leaving. Every moment you spent in emotional chaos was a moment you could have spent in purposeful construction. The hidden principle isn't about relationships, it's about self-respect. It's about understanding that your worth isn't determined by who chooses to stay or leave. It's determined by how you respond when they do. This shifted something fundamental in how you see loss and power, like this video. Tell me in the comments, do you think this is wisdom or just emotional detachment? That hidden principle I promised at the beginning? Here it is in its full truth. The man who can walk away is the man who never has to, not because he threatens to leave, but because he's built a life so solid that losing him becomes someone else's nightmare. Machiavelli knew that true power isn't in holding on to things, it's in being so valuable that losing you becomes unthinkable. When you reach that level, you don't get left, you get chosen again and again. Her departure wasn't your failure. It was your invitation to become the kind of man who doesn't get left behind, the kind of man who, when he walks away, takes the light with him. Subscribe if this changed how you think about loss and power, and tell me in the comments what resonated most with you.